Hello and welcome to True Talk Chelsea. This is the number one podcast for all your Chelsea wants and needs. We hope you enjoy.
That's right, guys. Welcome back to True Talk Chelsea. In today's episode, we will give a brief preview on the Chelsea vs Spurs derby on Sunday. The main aspect of the video will be the combined 11 of arguably the best performing London teams this season. If you like the sound of that, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Let's begin. Palash, what are your thoughts ahead of the match?
So, Julia, you said that they're the best performing London clubs this season. But in my opinion, they might just be the best performing English clubs in the entire of the Premier League this season. I mean, last season, Spurs finished 6th and we were 4th. But this season, I can see both the clubs as genuine title contenders. Mourinho in his second season, Lampard with all his new signings and high-flying team. I'm sure that these two teams will go on to compete for the title. And as we know, in a title race, each and every point matters. So I think even though it's early days, it's a game of great importance. Obviously, it's a derby, London derby, and I'm sure it'll be an amazing game. Though it wouldn't be as simple as the games we've just played, it'll be a lot trickier. Spurs an amazing team, but I hope we get a positive result on Sunday. Chirag, what are your views?
Guys, I'll say, how can we forget it? Mourinho's second season, and we all know Mourinho's second season, how it goes. That guy has not left any team without a trophy in the second season. We all know Tottenham are not going to win anything, but still they are doing pretty good this season. I'll say the form in Kane and Son are it terrifies our defense, right? Also, I would say that this game is good for us in the aspect that we were playing in the Champions League and we have more rest than Tottenham, who would be playing the Europa League game. We would be having more rest and our players would be more fresh. Also, we have good news in Havertz would be starting after his COVID issues. Also, we will have Pulisic who would be back in the squad as Lampard confirmed. I don't know if he will be starting or not, but surely I'm very excited for the game.
I'm personally not going to be overly confident with the result, as it could be either of the teams. Maybe no team will walk away with 3 points. One of the reasons why it will be a tough game is because both the teams have been keeping clean sheets. Defensive and attacking output has been fantastic from Chelsea and Tottenham. Kane himself is the league's top assister. I think it will come down to the character of the teams, like both Lampard and Mourinho, since they both have, become managers of the clubs. They've been placing a very strong emphasis on character and the determination of the squad and the players. Earlier today, Mourinho himself said that if we have problems in the game, I want the problems to be created by Ludogorets, which is the team they're playing in the Europa League, not by our own attitude. So I think if both teams come with a strong mentality, it will be a fantastic game to watch, but it will be a tough one.
Definitely.
Now, if we,
And
yeah,
just to add on, till now we've been on an amazing run. We've been unbeaten since so many games. We've won most of them, but then we can reflect back on the fact that they were relatively easier teams. We've got Rennes, Krasnodar, then in the Premier League we've got Sheffield, Crystal Palace. But the only very difficult games I think we've played this season was Liverpool and Sevilla, both of which, in neither of which we managed to win. So if we do get positive result here, if we do manage to get all 3 points, I think that'll be a great statement of intent and great statement by Frank Lampard, because I think it's high time he gets the credit that he deserves.
Adding to your point, you forgot the Tottenham game. We have played Jose Mourinho's side this season, and we all know we lost that game. I would say that was the most disappointing game we played this season. Mourinho with his second team did beat us. It would be pretty difficult against him this time.
Surely.
also I would just like to add that Lampard actually became the first manager to ever beat a Mourinho side both home and away in a league season, and that was last season. So if he does win again for the third out of the 4 times, it will be a massive statement by Lampard, like you said, Palash. I mean, beating, your own head coach from years previously is something to definitely be proud of.
For sure. It won't be an easy game. It'll definitely be a tricky game. But what are your predictions, your score predictions for the game? Make sure you leave them down in the comments below. Now let us move on to the next segment of the show. Next section, in which we make a combined 11 of both the clubs. I know that all the three of us are Chelsea fans over here, but we try to be as unbiased as we can in making this 11. So, Julia, could we start with the goalkeeper? Who do you think would be the better goalkeeper to start in the combined 11?
First of all, just mentioning we would be going for a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3
I think
because
we should
both teams
stick to a
have a
4-2-3-1 formation because it's the formation that Spurs have often used this season. And I think even Chelsea began the season with the 4-2-3-1 formation. So, probably we would use that for our combined 11.
Yep,
uh,
that's fine. For the goalkeeper, even though Mendy has had a fantastic form in the Premier League since he has joined, I'm not sure if has he only let one goal in.
yes, yes,
I think
he
that's
has.
it. He has one of the highest, if not the highest, save percentages. But I understand that it's Spurs, the rivals, but Lloris for me has been fantastic. I remember when I was younger and I used to watch him all the time, really looked up to him. So I would definitely put Lloris in for his experience, for his leadership. I really value him as a goalkeeper. He's probably my favourite Spurs player, even though we're not supposed to. But in my opinion, Lloris deserves that spot.
No doubt, the World Cup winning captain, the leader at the back, he has to be in there. Mendy is having good run of games or a good patch of games. But yeah, we know when experience comes, no one can beat Lloris in goal.
So that'll be Hugo Lloris in our goal. Next, we'll move on to the left back position, in which we've got two major contenders, which are uh, Sergio Reguilon and Ben Chilwell. Chirag, who do you think should take that place?
Both of them have been great summer signings for both the clubs. I would say both the clubs in the previous season lacked a lot of quality back there. Both have done good business getting in Regulion and Chilwell. I would just edge Chilwell here because his game has been exceptional. I don't remember he making a mistake in the Premier League game. He has been running up the field. He's scoring goals, assisting goals, perfect crosses from corners or from open plays, and in defending he has been rock solid, positioning well and all there. And I'll just edge Chilwell for his experience in the Premier League and also the quality he's showing this year.
Completely agreed. Even though Reguilon has been amazing, even though I still remember Aspilicueta putting in that fake dummy and Reguilon sliding to back to Sevilla.
Yes, yes,
But
yes. That's him.
he's been amazing since then, and so has Chilwell. And we'd probably give the edge to Chilwell over here. Moving on to the centre backs, we've got four major options, which could be two from Chelsea, which is Thiago Silva and Kurt Zuma, and two from Tottenham, which is Toby Alderweireld and Eric Dyer. So, Julia, who do you think should be our centre back pairing?
I think, no doubt, we can't argue this one. It has to be Thiago Silva. He is one of the best centre backs in the world. The experience he brings and how he transformed Chelsea's defence this season is unbelievable. I mean, not only do we, have to give credit to Mendy for transforming Chelsea's defence, but also Thiago Silva. Without that man leading the back line, we would have probably done not as well as right now. From Spurs, Toby is currently injured, but if we don't look at the kind of injury form, if we're just making a general, then I would go with Toby.
I completely agree with Julia. Like we have been appreciating Chilwell and Mendy in Chelsea's defense, but we do forget that it has all been due to leadership by Thiago Silva. Thiago has been like perfect. I would say any Spurs fan will also not deny the this fact that Thiago Silva deserves a chance. And again, Toby has been great all these seasons for Spurs. He has all the experience with Thiago Silva in our combined 11. He could be perfect playing in the next centre back role. And for me, Zuma is also a great choice. But yes, agreeing with the fact that Toby has a bit more experience and Zuma is just rising up, I'll say we should go with Thiago and Toby.
So now we've got the centre back pairing of Thiago Silva and Toby Alderweireld. Now moving on to the right back position, we've got the three major options, I'd say, or probably four, considering Chelsea have got two quality right backs. But it can be shortlisted down to Reece James, Matt Doherty, or Serge Aurier. But I think this one is an easy pick because of the fact that Doherty is yet to prove himself in a Spurs shirt, and Aurier has had his own defensive woes. And that is the reason why I think I'd give that spot to Reece James. Even though of his inexperience, he's been amazing not just this season but last season as well. And I think he's quite underrated as well because people don't really put him in the same bracket as other right backs in the same country as Alexander Arnold and Van Bissaka. But I think Reese is a very balanced right back because the modern game requires a full back to be good offensively as well as being solid defensively, and that is something that James offers us game in and game out, and that's why I would have Reece James as the right back.
I completely agree with Paras. No offenses or no anything. No doubts that Reece James is better than any of the four. We could use Aspi as the most experienced one, but we all know James is better than Aspi this season.
Surely. Now since
Even looking,
yeah, now since we've got going for a defensive two in 4-2-3-1, the two holding midfielders, Julia, who would your two holding midfielders be?
I mean, I don't know much about Spurs as I'm more Chelsea orientated than general Premier League, but I have read a lot and he's received praise by Mourinho as well on countless of occasions that Højbjerg has been fantastic. I've heard that he has, dominated the midfield and has been a valuable asset. So if we are to keeping it consistent across like a Chelsea and Spurs balanced 11, I would go for him as one of the CDMs. And secondly, I would add N'Golo Kante. At the start of the season, many people were worried that he isn't at his best, but he is just. I think he's improved a lot since the start of the season. People had their doubts, but I mean, defensively, he helps so much. His tackles, he even scored a goal in the national side of France the other week. So I think Kante undoubtedly is still one of the best centre defensive midfielders in the world, and he deserves that spot 100%.
I totally agree. And even though I shouldn't be saying this as a Chelsea fan, but I am a big fan of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Because according to me, he's been one of the most underrated signings of the summer. And he's just transformed the Spurs team and he's made them so much better. Now he's done amazingly at defensive mid position, and he also offers them some versatility. They do not have. If you would see the Spurs team sheet and you would see the defense, you might doubt if they've got the defense which would keep a clean sheet against attack of Manchester City. But that's exactly what happened last week, and I would definitely put Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg there, and no doubts about N'Golo Kante. Moving on to the left wing position, Chirag, who would your left winger be?
Oh, that this is one of the most debatable ones, I would say, because we know Son is in great form. He has been a great player, the best Asian player, but we know that Captain America cannot be left out of any squad. You cannot rule him out any day. It would, for me, it would be debatable. My Chelsea instinct leans me towards Pulisic, but just to be fair to Spurs fans, I'll go with Son, and also due to his form, he has been amazing. I think he and Kane both are on the both are running for the Golden Boot award right now. Both are assisting, scoring, and both have been perfect. So I would go with Son over Pulisic just because of Pulisic's injury.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I mean, Pulisic has been great. It was his first PL season, and he was absolutely amazing. But then Son has been doing that since many seasons now, and this season would probably be his best season because he's already produced and scored so many of the goals, has an amazing partnership with Kane, and I think it'd be fair to Spurs fans to put Son in there over Pulisic. Now moving on to the right wing position, Julia, who would your right winger be?
Um, I think undoubtedly it has to be Ziyech. He every time I watch him play, every time he comes onto the pitch, He just has that magic about him. Like, no wonder they call him the Wizard when he's just phenomenal. He cuts inside, the balls that he delivers into the box for, the striker that we are to pick. If we had both Son and Ziyech in one team, I think that would be phenomenal to watch. He's just a top player. I don't think you can argue this one.
Definitely. Now moving on to a position with great competition from both the sides. It's the CAM's attacking midfielder, odd number 10 position, since we are going with a 4-2-3-1. This
Yes.
position could be a bit debatable, but we all can have our views, and let's be unbiased with this one. Chirag, who do you think should be the number 10?
As you said, it could be debatable, but I would say it would be debatable between the Chelsea players only. I cannot see any Spurs players making a cut based on this season, unless you want Dele Alli. I would have no issues. But yeah, if you want to really go for a player, I would say Havertz. He has not performed up to his expectations, not because of some COVID concerns or maybe adapting to the new league for such a young guy. It is difficult. But yeah, I would say Havertz has to be in there because of the great experience he has shown or the great game he has shown in Bundesliga.
Julia, would you agree with Kai Havertz as number 10?
I disagree, and I personally would go with Mason Mount. If we just look at the Premier League stats, both have one goal and both have one assist, and have played a similar amount of games. So on that level, we can't compare them. But Mount has had more shots from an attacking point of view, but also from a defensive point of view, he has way more tackles, more interceptions, and I think Mount is an all-round player. He can not only press in the midfield, but he can also carry the ball forward and help the team create chances. But is also valuable in like kind of like the defensive aspect of the midfield because that's important as well. Last season he like if we compare the Mount and Havertz stats, I think we mentioned it in one of the first videos that we did. Mount have exceeded all expectations. You wouldn't think his defensive stats were that good. Every single stat was better than Kai had. And as much as I value Kai because he's a phenomenal player, he's a great young player with tons of potential, I would give this spot to Mason Mount.
If
Being a Mount fan, I
I
cannot
if I were to give
disagree.
my opinion, yeah, if I were to give my opinion, I'm already saw in advance to all these fans are going to be comparing me to Southgate. But if I were to give my opinion, Mason Mount starts for every Premier League team in the league, and I say that because of the completeness of a player. He's been praised by not only his club manager but also his national team manager. And there's no secret in the book why they start him and why they prefer him so much. It's the sheer work rate. It's the way he plays. It's his pressing, his tackling, his passing. He's just a very complete player, and he's so energetic and enthusiastic at such a young age, and he's already doing so well. He is creative. He saw an amazing assist. He can take those free kicks as we saw against Wolves. He presses very well, which has been appreciated by Lampard and Southgate. And he's just a very versatile player. Who we've seen him feature as an attacking mid. We've seen him feature on the right, on the left, and also drop in behind for a 4-4-4-3-3. And
Okay, I agree. I am a Mount fan. No issues. We can add Mount.
all right, we could add Mount.
And with the up striker position, like we have Werner, we have Tammy, but no one can disagree with Kane, Harry Kane, English captain, the best striker in England, debatably, in the English Premier League, debatably. But yes, I would go with Kane.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a debate over here. Harry Kane has to be there, and even I think every Chelsea unbiased fan would agree that Kane is currently better than any of our strikers, even though we've got three world-class strikers. Julia, would you go with Kane as well?
Yep, I would also go with Kane. As much as I value Timo Werner's presence and his reputation in Europe, Harry Kane has been in the Premier League longer. His experience is unmatchable when it comes to a striker in the Premier League. He has only had, in the 9 game weeks that we've had, he has 7 goals and 9 assists. That's 16 total goal contributions. It's unbelievable. I don't think he's ever had the season like this. And from kind of like an England national team point of view, it's great to see an English player doing so well. But it's also Spurs, so it's kind of like on the other side. But we can't argue it. We just can't. He has 0.8 goals per match, and I don't think any striker has that kind of rate. It's even better than Lewandowski's. So undoubtedly Harry Kane.
So with Harry Kane on top, that completes a team. Just to revise it again for you, we've got Edward Mendy in goal,
No,
Chilwell.
Lloris,
Loris.
I'm so
Some
sorry.
Chelsea fans, I would say.
getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, Chelsea fans cannot see the keeper right now.
I was just talking about the bench, okay? Edward Mendy on the bench, okay? So Loris in goal for the starting 11.
Yeah.
We've got Chilwell, Toby Alderweireld, Thiago Silva, and Reece James. For the midfield, too, we'll have Højbjerg and Kante. For the attacking mid, as we decided, we'd have Mason Mount. On the wings, we'd have Heung-min Son and Hakim Ziyech. And for the striker position, we'd have Harry Kane. And if we were to add a manager to this team, who do you think?
No, we are not getting
Oh
started yet.
no!
Not at all.
Right, we can't do that.
We
can't
can't
do that.
hate
That is
Jose
a
Mourinho.
completely other video.
Yeah, we are Chelsea fans. We can't hate Jose
I can't
Mourinho.
pick.
Surely. So this was our combined 11. What changes would you make? It could be a very debatable topic. You could just add more Spurs players. You've got Sissoko and Dombele. You can choose maybe Regulion over.
Dele Alli.
You could always pick or change information. So make sure you drop your combined 11, your preferred combined 11 in the comments below. And
Yeah.
with this combined 11, we do come to the end of the video. I would again ask you guys to subscribe to our channel. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Chirag. It was an amazing video. Let's hope for an amazing win versus Tottenham. And until next time, see you all.